Hi, this is Stephen. I'm going to do a video on all the PA systems that I've currently got in my house and explain to them the pros, the cons, and give you an idea of what they're all about, basically, and decide if they're the right ones for you. Okay, so let's start off with the one that's currently in my show right now, and that is this one. This is the Fenton. It's the 15-inch model. The box it came in has been adapted so that I can turn it upside down and use it as a table. Okay, so it saves me having to carry around things like gorilla stands, because the box itself saves me one extra piece of luggage that I have to lug around. Before, I suppose I should go into the PA itself. The box I've decorated with just black tape. I got this black tape I found. It's even carpet taped around the edge. And occasionally I have to reinforce it with more tape. And as you can see, it's holding its weight quite well. But I've done this for a few boxes and a few PAs. As you can see, there's one here which is in a box. And sometimes I do have to get like a table placemat, or just a piece of wood, or a tray, like a plastic kitchen tray, and I put that on top and cover it with black so it adds extra stability. Okay, let's go to the PA itself though. This particular model, the Fenton F15, is the bigger of its two brothers, and I'll show you the back. There's some key things that I'm going to point out, which is why I'm currently, to be honest, I would use the FT12 right now, but it died on me, and I've had to go back to this one, which is still good, but the battery is pretty much dead. I get about 20 to 25 minutes out of it if I need the battery power. So I pretty much have to use it plugged in. And in order to get good quality sound, it definitely needs to be plugged in, because even on battery, it's stretching its things. I've taken off the wheels and I've taken off the bar, and I've covered the holes for the bar with carpet tape. The reason for that is I never used it. I never ever wheel this around because it is light. I can lift it with my pinky, when you wheeled it around, it would wobble all over the place. It's too light to wheel, but it's also in the way because I put it on a trolley. Everything goes on a trolley, so that just added extra weight. So I took them off, just had to get my screwdriver set and undo it all bit by bit by bit. Getting out the bars, if I recall, was a tougher job. I had to use pliers to squeeze it out, but I did do it. And the carpet tape goes over here, which makes a nice pocket because the remote goes there, the remote. I've sellotaped a little watch. This particular watch, hopefully you can see that on the camera, is nice and visible. I didn't want it digital. I wanted it white with the numbers clearly displayed, so I could quickly peek at this and know what time it was and how much time in the show I had. I like to be able to see the time at all times. And I placed it on here for the PA for versatility. It's actually in a small plastic bag with a sellotape over the top of it, because you have to change it twice a year for the hour, daylight saving times, and also the battery will need replacing now and again. This was basically just a wrist watch, and I've taken off the strap. In here is a mini USB. On that exists all the songs in my show, and if you want a sneak peek of what that is, there's the list. And you can screenshot that, because I know some of you, I'm recording this in February 2026. That's the current playlist. Some of it won't mean anything to you because it's part of my show. It's been named for the trick. But other things like Golden and Cupid, Lose My Mind, these are songs that you may not be aware of, and they work well in party situations. So what else have we done to this? Okay, so another thing I've done is, you can see the volume switch here. I've got a Tipex, and I Tipexed the lines to tell me where it is, because it's black, and that black comes off quite easily if you use it a lot. But more importantly, you couldn't see it in dark situations. I'm often working in a very dark environment. Putting a white strip there meant I could see where that volume switch was at all times. It's pretty cool that it's got its own built-in lights, and it's got its own switch. So if I show you that, it has its own light source, and you can turn the lights off and by turning the lights off, I get more life out of the battery. But usually it's still around 25 minutes. Without the lights, maybe 40, but it's not possible to replace the battery, not for me anyway. I did open it, I did have a look. There's electronic circuitry connected to the actual board, and I just found it was beyond my ability to replace. There's I think that's the main thing about the back. And one thing I want you to doubly make sure of is the mini USB never comes out. It lives in this machine. It does have Bluetooth. It can connect to my phone, but the thing is, I don't want to be. I want to just come in, immediately take this out of the box, press play, and the music starts. No having to Bluetooth connect. No having to charge my phone and all that kind of stuff. If it was running on the battery, I wouldn't even need to plug it in. But because all the music's on a mini USB, I can immediately jump to where I want to go. With the remote, which I don't have right now on me, I can jump straight to the song. However, I have to be about 10 centimeters away from the IR sensor in order to make it change to the track I want it to. Not the most convenient. I have got a solution for that with a different PA, but for now, this is the job that's doing it. Okay, so that's the main one. That's the Fenton FT15 LED. I'm going to show you its smaller brother, which is over here. The box for this is upstairs. This one has actually died. It died on me about 2-3 weeks ago. Finally gave in. And how it died, it was dying numerous ways, but the ultimate thing was it stopped picking up the remote. And the remote worked because the same remote works on that 15, but it stopped working on the 12. Something happened to the sensor array and, well, we just lost the remote. When I couldn't change it to the track, so I can't go to track number 30, we had a problem. I could have still done it by pressing the button a bunch of times, but that's no good to me. This is very similar things. You can't see it as clearly, but there is still the Tip-X. In this case, I've used a silver Tip-X, but it's actually fading off here. So it is still there, if you can see it. And one other little thing I've done on this one is I've put blue tack underneath the echo button, because I never use the echo. I'm there for the party. I need everybody to hear me and clearly understand me. I'm not a DJ as such, and even DJs never use the echo. So the echo button was really annoying. And by securing it down with blue tack, it meant I could never accidentally turn it. I've also done the same for the guitar volume, because I never use that either. I'm not plugging a guitar into here. And you don't want to use, I probably should cover that with a piece of tape just so I never actually accidentally touch it. This has got the track list basically here at the bottom because I was running out of space at the top. Actually, I think that is the second, that's the second half of the track list. That's the kids guess your theme song, I think. I've taken the wheels off, as you can see. Same with that one. And this one still got the bar in it. Maybe because I was using it as a little cut. I had this little piece of foam, which I've carpet taped here, which acted as the little pocket for the actual remote control. This is the Fenton FT12 LED. Something else you need to know about this is they have replaced these two models. These two Fentons are from 2017. In 2020, they redesigned the entire system, and the new ones are awful. I've purchased the new FT12 and I had to send it back because it was entirely digital. It didn't have a volume switch, which was manual. It was a volume switch controlled with a remote, and it overrode the microphone control and it overrode the track selection. So if I wanted to fade out of a song and fade into a song when changing music, it wouldn't allow me to do that because it was digital. It could only handle one command at a time. This can handle fade out, fade ins while changing track. So I don't know what to recommend in regards to buying one of these. If you can find one of the older models, great, but then you might have the problem of the battery being dead because you don't use the pandemic basically meant they didn't get used for so long, it killed them. I probably still think the best recommendation would be to buy this FT12 model if you're going to buy one. Even though I sent mine back, it's probably the better of the bunch out there at the moment. Why? Why? Because I know some of you are saying, oh, I'm using a Bosch, or I'm using one of these elaborate systems, which, or like one of the ones up behind me, which is elaborate. No, this is great because it's got built-in lights. This one might even still have some power. So it's still got power in there. So these lights They make all the difference to some parties. They really do. Not only am I playing dark rooms, it's just it says you're the entertainer, and it's difficult to describe that to someone who doesn't do a lot of disco parties. But you can, even if you're not advertising disco, you're just advertising party games, the lights do make the atmosphere possible. This is exactly the same features as the other one, so there's not much else to go over with it. But the newer model, as bad as it is, I think for most people out there who will be using their phone to Bluetooth the music, then the newer model will do the job sufficiently. Because I used the mini USB, it wasn't practical for me, but that's just me probably. Okay, so which one do I recommend if you wanted to go for the full control and have mini USB? And it's my current backup, and that's this one. This is, again, using the box. Well, this isn't the box it came in. This is a box from yet another PA, which I no longer own. It died. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've had lots of PAs. Some of them have died. I don't have them anymore. Well, this one is a different model. Oh, just before I forget, that FT12, this is I actually purchased the plug lead. Now, the plug lead was one of these, which is about 1 meter long, about 1 meter, which is useless for most venues you're going to be performing in. Now, you say, well, carry an extension lead. Well, don't need to now. This is a 5 meter long kettle lead. And I just went to eBay and bought it. I just typed in 3-pin plug lead, found the one that matched it. 5 meter, saves me having to carry around things like this, which I still have. I've got a 5 meter and a 10 meter extension cord, but I rarely have to use this because this lead is big enough. And look at how much space it takes. Less. So it goes in the corner of the box and it saves me, it's less weight. Less weight in order for things. You might want one of these. Well, I think you can buy one of these with 2 plugs, with 2 kind of a multi-port thing if you have to plug your phone in. But yeah, I do recommend a 5 meter long plug lead. So similar thing with the box. The only thing that's different about this box is I put handle spacers in the side, which are quite useful, to be fair. And on the top there's a piece of some piece of fabric that I found. I don't even know what it's from, but it looks like a doormat. Maybe it was a doormat, and I've stuck that on top just to reinforce the top, because over time basically it's made of cardboard. So if you end up doing a show and taking your stuff to the car, it rains, you've got to be prepared for that. This is also sticky back felt. You can buy rolls of sticky back felt from Hobbycraft, eBay, Amazon, and this is black sticky back felt, and it just gives the box an extra little scratch protection so it can't show any kind of dents. So, this is just a hook for something. I don't know what it's for, some kind of strap, and I use that to keep the PA inside the box. So if I want to do that, it goes there, and now I can move it around without worrying about it falling out. To be fair, this one doesn't fall out because it's big enough. It's so big it actually doesn't fit in this box. I think this one was probably designed for this one, as you can see there, and that would probably go over there and over there, and now it's secured inside. Just that one little strap helps me secure it. I do have other means of doing that, but well, that one works for now. So this one, now this is heavier. I might actually use this box to display it on for the camera. Let me move it up to the right position. Trying to frame the camera for this is going to be fun. Okay, this doesn't have lights on it. It's the Vonyx, V-O-N-Y-X, and it's my current backup system because of that one too. That one's lighter. I like lightness, but it still fulfills the same criteria. So it doesn't have it's got the bar, and it's still got the wheels on this one because it's relatively new. I've not used it too much, and I'm not enough to warrant changing it yet. Still got the track list on the top. That's probably a slightly older track list. Yeah, doesn't have golden on it, so that means it's the previous track list to golden. Okay, and This one should be a fully working battery. I'm going to make sure the volume is down. Master volume. There we go. So we've got volume, and it's got a mini USB in it because it's a backup. I bought a spare USB from CEX. It cost me about £4. So if I'm ever in an emergency situation, I could just grab this PA, and I don't need to worry about making sure I've got the USB stick right. It's always got one in there as an emergency backup. So you got your battery indicators as normal. Not much else to say with that. But this one is heavier. I need my hand to lift this, not my pinky. And one other little thing I've done with this, as you might find, I put out a trick recently on YouTube using little sticky back ladybirds. Those sticky back ladybirds can also come in useful on these things. So if you see here, I put one on the play button. So now when I need to just press play, because it's also the pause button, play and pause, if I'm in a dark situation, I need to find which is the right button, I just press the ladybird. And because it's sticky back, it fitted quite well. I have in the past used other things like little tabs, but those sticky back ladybirds, which cost me a penny, yeah, really nice. I need to put one on that one as well. So this one has the same features with various other aspects, but I would say the loudness is approximately, it is supposed to be the same as the FT15. It does most parties. I've used this in school shows for 600 kids, and I've used this in birthday parties for 30, and in both situations it fulfilled the needs. But as you know, an environment can change the dynamics. So that room of 30 kids can be louder in a party situation than a school hall for 600. So I don't want to say one system is better than another or one situation is, because depending on what show you're about to do, if you've got all the parents talking at the back, then you might, even with this on full volume, and I believe this is 800 watts, I'll find out in a second, it still might not be powerful enough. But in most situations, it'll be too powerful and you'll get asked to turn it down. It's the same with all of them, including even these tiny ones, which we're going to get to. So for me, the physical size of it is one aspect. It does help. There's a few other ways to make it louder. And if you've got a problem of your music not being loud enough, one of them will likely be your phone. If you're Bluetoothing from your phone to the PA, that has a volume limiter built into it because it's designed to be played to headphones for the ears. And that has a special feature built into the phone which stops the volume going above a certain loudness to stop you from going deaf. Well, when you're playing it to a PA, that limiter is still in effect, and it's limiting the amount of volume output that the phone can give. Because I'm playing it from a mini USB, that limiter is not in place. So the music is a lot louder when it plays from a mini USB. Another thing I do with the music is I take it into a program called Audacity on my PC and I ump up the volume on certain tracks. Not all of them, but usually I take the volume up to max, and I also edit out the intros and the outros because it's usually a long fade in and a long fade out, and it sometimes takes a minute before the song kicks in. So I get rid of all that nonsense. So it starts on a high note and keeps on that high note, and the next song is also on a high note, so it usually flows even though the track list is separate. Another thing you can do to increase the volume is put the speaker up higher. And so I'm going to put that down for a second. That's where this comes in. This is a Gorilla stand. It's basically a tripod base. I'm not going to set it up fully because it won't show on the camera, but ultimately I can open this up and this little rod goes through here. And it sits there, and now the PA, if I want to, can sit on it. It would go further higher up. That's not... it's about on there. That's not on. You sure that's in the right place? It'll sit in there somewhere like that. Now, the higher up the speaker, the further the music can travel because it goes over people's heads. So having the music travel over people's heads means it's louder just in general. Let me put that over there. This is heavier for a very good reason though, is it's got its own built-in wireless microphone transmitters. Now, the Fentons have that as well. They've also got a built-in wireless transmitter, but theirs is set. This can only handle one sound frequency of 174.9, I believe. No, 170.093, and you can buy a wireless microphone on that frequency, which solves you a few problems. This one is on a different frequency. It might even say it on here somewhere. But this can take two different mic sources. And usually they come as one handheld and one headset if you're lucky. Sometimes you have to get two headsets and buy the headset mic separately. But that unit that's in there is adding a lot of weight. Yeah, I don't use it. I use, for my microphone, these. Okay, this is a 3-meter long headset microphone. What I can do is I can plug it directly into the machine, and now I will turn it on. I'm not so sure how the audio is going to be on this. I don't want any music. There we go. Oh, no, can't have you play music. Okay. There we go. So that's the audio from this device. This is nice audio. You hear it bouncing back off the device. I'd say it probably sounds nicer than most. But what's interesting is that there is a mic level, but that's going to stay on max. The master volume basically is the main mic button. That determines how loud I can get. That is as loud as on max. It's not as loud as I would like it to be, but it will do the job. I stick with this 3-meter wired connection. There's a reason for that. If I showed you the difference, this is the FT12. Let's try it with this. There we go. Oh, there you go. Hey, so this is even louder. This is at half volume. That's somewhat the difference. The FT12 can get even louder. It's a smaller device and it's a much louder system for the microphone. Now the sound quality might not be as nice. There's a little bit. Let me turn the bass down maybe. There we go. I can turn it a little bit down like that. It's picking up feedback from the walls that I'm around, but even you can tell now this is a smaller system and it's louder. It may not be as clear, but it's more suitable for my purposes. I need to get to a large room of people. Okay. Having said that, that one's dead. The FT15 is obviously louder. This is the one that is my backup. There's not, yeah. So, but I like to stick with these. The brand of this is called the Singing Machine. However, I couldn't actually recommend these. They die on me quite often, usually from brand new. There seems to be a manufacturing defect with about 1/3 of the stock. So I had to buy 80 of these microphones for £2 each. So it cost me 160 quid for 80. And then probably 40 of them at least have died within from the box. From first starting it, they had problems with the sound, they were just poor quality. But because at least 100 of them were fine, then that's great. I've got 100 working microphones, and whenever they die, because they're wired microphones, just general wear and tear, usage, you're moving around the country, things are going to happen. People are going to trip over wires, or you trip over the wire more than often than not. So I just grab another one. Because at £2 a piece and with tax deductible and things like that, I wasn't worried that much. So I have to replace them once every 6 months, I'd say. Probably usually once every 6 months. And I always have a spare in the seat. This is a headphone case, but I put the microphones in it, and I always carry a spare in each one because I have an occasion had them die when just suddenly something, they were working in one show and then you get to the next and it just stops working. But it's rare, but I don't want to be without a microphone when I need it. I know some of you would, what I would probably recommend, depending on what headset mic you're using, if you're using a wired headset mic and not one of those, it'll probably come with a short 1 meter lead. However, you can buy a 5 meter long extension lead for headphone leads. I've got one in the cupboard, which is not accessible to me right now, but it's a 5 meter, it might even be 10 meter, I might even have a 10 meter one, so that if I'm using one of my non-singing karaoke machine headset mics, I can just plug it into that and get all my distance and not have, that's usually better quality as well, but I'm still working my way through those. So yeah, just buy the extension lead if you want to save yourself the effort of doing frequency checks, getting feedback issues, all that kind of stuff. Because I don't get, with the wired microphones, I get almost zero feedback unless I'm right in front of a wall. And it just solves all my setting up problems, no batteries to leak, nothing to put in and sort out. All sorts out for me. And I didn't have to put one of those devices because we've all got wireless microphones and you have to put that little thing in there and then it gets knocked and it smashes and it breaks. I've had it numerous times. I do not like putting things that stick out of the PA. That's why it's a mini USB and not a large one, because nothing can knock it off. And I'm reaching around, I'm doing things backstage, kids come running around. You just got to think about these things. Okay, moving on. By the way, I'm just gonna, well, I say moving on, I just want to make sure that you're aware of this system. I don't have any other information to show you. Oh, VSA 500 portable system, 12-inch HH plus BP UHF. So I don't know if that helps you in any way. I don't know if I could recommend it. As I say, next one I buy would have the disco lights built into it. But that serves its purpose right now. But we'll see. Okay, now the next one is this. This is my second one of these and also the second one to die. Having said that, I loved it. Basically they lasted, I think, 2 years each. And this is the JBL. I may have covered up the text that goes with it. I believe it's called the JBL, and I'm going to show it you and let you either Google it or I might find the image and put the text on the screen. But why do I love this? Well, it's got the mini USB on the top as usual, but also on the top are numeric keys. So if I want to jump to a song, make sure the volume is low. I don't want you to hear the music. I can't do that. We go to 26 that'll do. Do not listen, I've got to talk while the music plays. Okay, right, that's royalty free, so I'm okay. Right, so basically there's a small display on the front which tells you the readout. I've got volume control on the front. If I want to jump to a song, let's say I'm going to jump to another royalty-free track, which here will be number 30. Let's go for number 30. All I need to do is type 30. And there we go. I'm going to pause that. Now that is actually, the volume is set to off, but you could still hear it a little bit. This has been playing up with me a little bit. I'm hoping, because the fact that I've got audio now is a good sign. But yesterday, when I tried to use it for a show, the microphone was fine, but the music was playing a bit wrong. So I'm going to have to give a little bit of TLC to this. Fingers crossed it still works. But I loved it because of its practicality. The handle is a bit annoying. These bits as well are annoying, but it does the job. And what I have done for my Sholly trolley, which is a whole other video we'll get to, I've got hooks. So this hooks onto the trolley, and now this PA can live on the trolley with all the gear and everything else, which makes it really nice. It's loud. It can reach a room of, if an audience is sat down, I would use it for a room of 30. I wouldn't use it in a party situation. Children and people are running around where there's adults speaking at the back. It's not loud enough for that. But when the show I did yesterday was for 20 adults for a Probus club, that it was more than capable of doing it. The other thing I've done with this that you might like to know about is this is a bottle cap. And because the power button is here, I was accidentally knocking it when burning it in the car, and it would turn it on and drain the battery. So in order to stop me accidentally knocking the power button, I got a bottle cap, used a little bit of tape, and that protects the button so it doesn't get played. There you go, now it's set to off. That was a nice little kind of helpful thing. And also, just like the previous ones, there's my track list on the back. This is probably a more current track list as well. This second part is the theme song game, which is a whole other issue. I do love this one. I say it's the second one I've had. The first one broke with, I think it was in my car. The car shifted, this shifted, and a piece of plastic broke inside. I did fix that, and I might have to dig it out if this one is gone, but I was a bit unsure about my fixing. So I went to this one because I had a backup, but we'll see. Okay, I have had other PAs like the Ibiza system. I've looked at the Bosch system. The Bosch is nice. I admit everybody likes the sound quality, but for me, it's about practicality. I need to just walk into the building, take the PA, put it on its own box and press play, and done. 5 seconds at max to take it out of a box and press play. I want the music to be on within seconds. The Bosch system took about 10 minutes to set up, and that was a deal breaker for me. Also was the large towers that stick out the big bases. You needed an extra trolley and an extra trip to the car. All of this packs up inside of itself. It goes on top of the magic table, and I'm in and out the door, done. So for me, it was more about practicality. I was willing to sacrifice the tiny bit of audio improvement quality for practicality. And I found most of my clients appreciated the fact that I could just walk in and start, because usually when I'm turning up, they're desperate for entertainment straight away. I haven't got 20 minutes to set up a show. I need to get going and pack away at the end in the same breath. Sometimes I do up to 6 shows in a day. I cannot be wasting time packing down a Bosch system. Also, I have been told the newer models have batteries built in, but I haven't seen any of those. The type, when I looked at it, were very much you had to plug them in, which wasn't always possible either. Yes, these need plugging in for most bookings nowadays. Apart from this, the battery on this was it's supposed to be 8 hours. It's probably down to about 5 now, I'd say. I was using it for I had a residency, which was outside at a restaurant. So this would last for the entire length of the residency, and plus it never ran out of battery. So it was at least 4 hours for that residency, and then I think it had more juice left in it. So good battery on that one. Also with that one, just in case I forget, I always have a charger for it, because I find the sound quality is better when it's plugged in for all of these PAs. Yes, when it's on battery and it's on full charge, it's still good. But if you plug it in, and in this case, I've got, this model here is the USB-C. It made life easier. And this is a nice long lead. I think this is a 3 meter long lead, because I believe in long leads, it means you're not having to carry around extension ports. And look how much, this just squashes up. It's so small. I mean, imagine trying to carry around an extension lead for that. Okay, next, we use this box. Okay, this is the JVC Boombox, or Bloom Blaster. Okay, they've redesigned the model, and this is an older model, but I bought the new one and didn't like it, sent it back. Why? So the new model does have lights built into it, which are quite nice. As I've already said, I do like the lights, but it had problems in regarding the playback of certain audio, playing back off USB. I didn't like it. It had issues, but the main one was the battery charging. it had a built-in lithium battery, which you had to charge via the wall socket, and it had a limited lifespan. It wasn't lasting over an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is useless to me because most of my parties are over 2 hours. And if I'm working outdoors on batteries, I need full charge for at least 4 hours. So I went back to the older model. No lights. But the thing about this older model, just take the plug out for a minute, is it takes normal D batteries. I don't know if you can see that there. I'll do that. Sure there. But it takes these D-set batteries. So it takes 10 of them. That's a lot of batteries. Which I don't mess with. But it means, should I ever lose charge when I'm in the middle of a field, I can just take the batteries out, put another 10 in and go. So I never have to worry about battery power. It's just normal old-fashioned D batteries that you can just replace easily. So I love that. Having said that, it still works with no batteries in it while plugged in, which is another key point I should add. All of these PAs will work without a battery inside of them. I have an ion block rocker, which is currently outside, but it's dead because the battery is dead and it won't turn on without a working battery inside of it, even though it's plugged in. So the ion block rockers having that major flaw of not working via the wall outlet is a deal breaker for me. So, but I still own it because I don't know what to do with it. That's the ion block rocker. Don't recommend because of that flaw, that fatal flaw. Let me plug this back in so I know where it is. Okay, so this one being an older model means it's got CD, and it does have, this is for a very old iPhone or an iPod. I don't use any of those. I use, as you know now, a mini USB, which is currently there. That has all my tracks on it. Well, from last time this was updated, and it basically is very, very powerful. I won't turn this on just because A, I'm not plugged it in, but B, I don't think there's any the music on there is restrictive, so I can't play it. But it does have all your features you might need, including Bluetooth. So you can use this, just connect to your phone via Bluetooth, and away you go. I don't even use this. I do play CDs from it occasionally, but that's more for my own needs. And this strap makes it nice and portable, and it is nice and light. And its volume capacity, if I give you the details there on that sticker, 100B, I don't know. It's loud. It does the job. I wouldn't use it for anything above 30 people. It's not that kind of PA. But it does a village hall or a school hall okay. And it has microphone inputs. So the inputs are on the back. So this one has a mic level and a guitar. So it's got mic and guitar. So if you're busking on the streets, this is a nice one to have as well because it's got all the features there and individual volume switches next to it. It also has built-in radio, but no one cares about that. Yeah, this is the Boom Blaster. There's not much more to say about it. It is one that you might want to consider. The sound quality is nice. Should I plug? Oh, just so that you can hear roughly through that what it sounds like. I'll tell you what, just so it can stay in the frame, I will plug this in. Here's the content when I'm not even on the screen. Okay. I'm going to make sure there's no volume. So it's turning on now, as you can see. Grab one of these. Meh. A bit tangled up. It's picked up the Bluetooth, but I don't want it to do that because we're not allowed to play any audio. Plug that in. This is the backup one. Plug that into the mic. There we go. Oh, I've got to keep the subwoofer off. So that's the audio coming from there. This is, oh, I don't want to get feedback, but I'm going to go that high. Just a minute. I am so close, it's going to get its own problem. But this is on level, so on level 15. I'm going to turn it off. And it goes up to, so there you go. So, and I've also got a radio mic on here, so it's going to get a little bit of static there. So that was on level 15 out of level 30, so you can hear it gets quite loud. Turn it off there. So that's this system. Gives you some indication of what it can do. This one is a worthy contender for potentially a lot of people using. It was used a lot in the past, and I still keep it because of its battery. Having that battery input option does, it's a stress reliever for when I'm working outside. Okay. Unplug you. The next one. So these are the main ones that I use for the bulk of the big shows, but I have these two smaller ones. I'll start with this one, which is the one I use 90% of the time. This is a small little waist mic. This is what I use for close-up shows. So when I'm doing walkabout in a restaurant or in a situation where there's a DJ playing, I have this. Basically, that's the headset mic. This would clip to my belt. What I've done is I've taken a couple of these canister clips, attached them to the hooks. So that would connect to that one, and this one would connect to, yeah, there you go, out you come. This one would connect to, say, this one. So that's on my belt now, and then I would wear this, and the lead would go through my jacket all the way to the device. You can, like I mentioned earlier, just get these. This is a quick, cheap £1 headset mic with its own little port. I think most people would use them for computers, but with no headphone port, headphones thing. Get the 3 meter long lead or 5 meter long headset lead, plug it straight into a PA. This is what I was saying, that you might want to just buy one of these and a really long extension lead. The other thing about this, I won't discount this too much, though, because these singing karaoke machine ones, another little feature is they've got an on-off button. So I can control when I need to speak to the child to say for a dual reality trick, and I tell them to do something I don't want the audience to hear, I just turn off the microphone there. You can't really do that with this, but you can move it away from your mouth. So this one is super useful, and this one I believe isn't that loud. It's 8 watt. I believe it's 8 watt. I can't even tell you. You probably can't buy it anymore, so I'm not going to undo the tape. But it's not that loud. It's a JYX, and it has a TF card reader, so it does play music. I've got my track list for certain background songs on here. But yeah, this is basically what I use to amplify my voice. Now, because it's only 8 watt, it's loud enough for most venues, but there are times when it's not loud enough. So I bought this one. That's a headset, that's a headphone case that it lives in as well. This one is too powerful and I don't recommend it. So it's a downer for this one, but I'm saying don't, yeah, I'm showing it to you, but don't buy this one. Don't buy it. This is the Voice Amplifier S96. It has this box, which is louder. It's supposed to be 15 watt. You would put it over your head and wear it like this, and it connects via Bluetooth to this. So this is a Bluetooth pickup. However, first problem, this is too close. I am way too close to the microphone, so you've got constant feedback issues. So it's useless. I can't be putting, if you're going to put it on a table across the room, maybe, but if you're trying to use it walk around like I do, this is not going to work. And there was no way of fixing that problem. The sound wasn't great either. I wasn't overly impressed with the sound quality. It does have its controls, and it should still have a mini USB port for various things like that on it. Yeah, basically I got lumbered with this. It's not, I wouldn't recommend 15 watt. It's just too loud for the proximity that you're going to be working in. If you're going to buy a portable waist amp, which I do recommend, buy one that is basically 8 watt. However, I will show you another one, and I'm not even going to press pause. You're going to have to wait for me a second because I can see it. I know it's in that cupboard. I'm going to get it. Just wait a second, wait a second. I'll carry on talking so you can hear me. Oh, by the way, there's the remote to this one here. Right, okay. I know you can't see me, but I'm going to get another headset mic out just because I know if you're watching this, you have got the same inquiry as I have regarding all of this. And it's nice to see all the options. I say so promisingly, it's never going to be right where you want it to be. Here's there, all those leads. That's not the one we're looking for. I'm trying to find leads for you. I know the content is like amazing. But please don't dislike this video just yet. I may even edit it if I can find the time. And now you're thinking this had better be worth it. Nothing's happening on the frame. Well, normally I just turn the video feed off for a second, but I can't do that because I'm trying to do this as a single shot supplement. And annoyingly, all my balloons seem to be in the way. Oh, how did it get all the way at the very back of this cupboard? Typical. There's the second one of those. There's some more microphones. And typical. Okay, so as is typical when you try and do a video like that and try and look for a certain device that's not there, it's missing, which means, no, here's one of them. Okay, I have many of these small portable ones. This isn't the one I was going to look for. That I must have lent out to a friend and now I need to get it back. But this is an alternative backup. It's another waist mic with a headset port on it, but this one is different. So unlike this one is built-in lithium USB chargeable. You have to charge it by the wall, which is great, but sometimes eventually the battery power is going to run out. This is one where you can basically place the batteries in and get the exact same effect. That's how long I've been using these things. The reason I'm not using this anymore is because black is more discreet. This is a bit more obvious, but they are pretty much exactly the same in regards to volume level. This one doesn't have a USB port on it, so this is just your voice only. That one does music as well, but to be fair, I rarely ever play music from it. I mean, it's fine for 1 or 2 routines, and I have done in the past, but I still, if you can find one that takes batteries, and you might need to go on eBay and get an older model, and they do have their pluses, and if you can find one that's black, I recommend that as well. While I dug out that cupboard though, it gives me the opportunity to show you some other things I wasn't even planning on. So I was talking about radio mics. This is one of the radio mics I have used and still use. It comes with its own system. This is one of those devices where you have to plug that into the back and it connects to the system. But as you can see, it's quite long, so it sticks out a lot. And I think it came with 2 boxes one of them was dead from, basically after a month of using it, I tried the second one that was in there, and that one was dead from the get-go. I don't even know where that is. Because one of them still worked, I kept it, but just bear in mind, that's not a good sign that out of the two pickup receivers, one of them was dead from new. I don't know if I'd recommend that. I wouldn't actually. I don't. I do recommend wired connections, but I understand that is personal taste. I just prefer speed and efficiency over everything else. This one you might find useful. This is the Vonyx headset mic. It takes batteries. As you can see, I've got the batteries in there. So I just put the batteries in. But what's interesting is you buy this. This is from a different system that is on the same frequency as 170. Oh, no, this is 864.5, this one. But it means it connects to one of these PAs. So basically, if you need a headset mic, you bought a PA. Let's say you go to Electro Market, which is a website that dedicated to selling PAs to entertainers. So that's Electro Market, but I do recommend them. They are a great company and good to work with. But they sell, some of their PAs only come with handheld mics. Now you can buy separate wireless mics like this that run on the same frequency, so you don't need to plug anything in. All the technology that it would work on the handheld mic works with these as well. So you need to find the right one that matches the frequency. In most cases, it's one... I don't want to say the number. I know the number in my head, but that one was a different number. So whatever system you buy, check what the frequency is and look for that. This bag of parts includes the two microphones. So this device came with two of these. And since I've got the spare one out, I can test if that works now a bit more. And I have all the other parts to all the devices here. And when you buy them, they all come with their own remotes and devices. Those go to, well, that one goes to the Fenton. And that's the remote for that. But I never ever used the remote because the remote was pointless when it's got buttons on the device. The only other thing I want to comment on is my handheld microphone. I do have a handheld mic in the bag. It's basically a normal handheld mic, only it's on a 5 meter long lead. I like long leads. It saves me having to put batteries in it. It's great. I have occasionally had to tighten up one of the screws that comes undone with transit over time, but it just tightens up and you're fine again. But that's it. And that's it's an external screw. It's the one thing I noticed starting to unravel itself. But yeah, a long lead, and that lives in the bag, with the games bag. I went through that with some other video, but that's all the PAs that I can say. If you were going to buy one, go to Electro Market. Go to Electro Market and buy one of the Fenton FT12s. Yes, I sent mine back. Yes, it's got its issues, but it's still the best one on the market that I know of at this time. There may be better now, so that's just my current recommendation. I'm hoping to pick up technology you hope would improve, but in this case it diminished in 2020, but at least it'll have a fully working battery, and it'll, for most people playing music off their phones, it will suffice. And for any close-up performers, go on Amazon, look up portable waist PAs like this and buy one of those. And also buy 3 meter, 5 meter long leads to connect everything with. I hope some of that information was as useful to somebody. I'm now going to do another video after I've tidied up on all the different magic tables and boxes that I've currently got piled up around my house, and hopefully show you some of the variations that I've had of those over the years. And if I note any other models that I can remember, I might put an amendment to this video. Who knows about the future. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.